One, so we are live on YouTube, but I'm also live at the same time on Instagram. This session is in English language. And if you have any questions on Instagram, please post the questions in English language on that question mark. If you are here on YouTube, then you can post the questions on the chat box. My name is Al Parsai. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. I am an adjunct professor at Queen's Law University, and I'm also the author of the bestseller book, 88 Tips on Immigration to Canada. Today, I will discuss a few topics related to the latest developments in the world of immigration to Canada, and then I will answer questions that you have. So let's take a look at the latest developments in the world of immigration to Canada. One thing that you need to know is that the immigration system right now in a limbo state, if you will. We have over 1.8 million different applications that are stuck in the immigration system. Some of them are permanent resident applications, some of them are temporary resident applications, and some of them are citizenship applications. And the government has not been able to handle these applications in the past, in the past couple of years properly. So the government has announced that they are investing $2.1 billion, $2.1 billion in the immigration system to enhance the system. And that's great news because we'll be able to see some enhancements in terms of the technology that being used by IRCC, and also the way that they process their applications, etc., etc. If you're interested, we have a news piece on our website. Visit settler.news or settler.ca and click the news menu, and then look at that article that says Canada to invest $2.1 billion, and it's written by our journalist. The other piece of news that you would like to know is that the government of Canada has decided to increase the processing fees for immigration to Canada. Now, if you recall, or if you're familiar with this, the government of Canada initially in 2020 increased the processing fees, and then they said that every other year they will review and enhance, or in reality, increase the processing fees for immigration to Canada based on the inflation rate. Now, the inflation rate just in the past year alone has been close to 6%. And of course, in the past 2 years, collectively, it has probably been close to 8 to 10%. However, the government has increased the processing fees roughly around 3%, depending on different application types. So here are some of the changes, and I just give you some examples. If you visit settler.ca, our journalist has published a table with all the changes. For example, the right of permanent residence fee is right now $500. In 14 days from today, that is from April 30th, 2022, that will increase to $515. So as you can see, it's a $15 increase to the original right of permanent residence fee or landing fee. Or for example, for economic immigration, the processing fee has increased from $825 to $850. And also for children from $225 to $230. So that here it's a $5 increase. For living caregiver, from $550 to $570. For children of living caregivers, from $150 to $55, and so on and so forth. So you can take a look at this table on our website. Probably the amount that is mostly shows increase is about business immigrations and also Quebec business immigrations, and that covers startup visa and also the self-employed class as well. Right now, the processing fee for the principal applicant is $1,575, and it will increase to $1,625 for the accompanying family member, from $825 to $150, and for children from $225 to $230. Oh, that's another one. By the way, if you have any questions, just post your questions, and when I'm done with the news, I will answer those questions. So the next one that you might like to know is that the government of Canada made some changes to the temporary foreign worker system. So these are the changes. Oopsie, I just hit my camera. Okay, so these are the changes. So labor market impact assessment. It is now will be valid for 18 months. In the past, an LMIA was valid for 9 months. So LMIA, or labor market impact assessment, is a document that an employer in Canada needs to get in order to you be able to apply for a work permit for that specific employer. And the validity duration has increased from 9 months to 18 months. The other thing you need to know is that the maximum duration of employment for high wage and global talent stream workers has now been increased from 2 years to 3 years, which is amazing news. This extension will help workers qualify for more pathways for permanent residency. And high wage is based on those applications that their salary are higher than the median for a specific province. If you're interested, I have an article on settler.ca that compares high wage and low wage processing fees, the requirements, and compares them together. You can learn about that. Global Talent Stream covers certain work permit options that allow you to get a work permit quicker comparing to a regular high wage, and it mostly covers IT professionals. And then the other change is that there will no longer be a limit to the number of low wage positions that employers in seasonal industries like fish, seafood processing can fill through the TFW program. In the past, we had a 10% maximum number of low-wage employees they could hire, but now there will be no limit. But remember, these are only temporary. And also, instead of issuing a work permit for a maximum of 180 days, now it will be for a maximum of 270 days. There are also a couple of other changes to the temporary foreign worker program. Employments of sectors which demonstrated labor shortages will be allowed to hire up to 30% of their workforce through the TFWP for low-wage positions for 1 year. And this is not just about seasonal workers. So that covers food manufacturing, wood product manufacturing, furniture and related product manufacturing, accommodation and food services, construction, hospitals, nursing, residential care facilities, etc. And then finally, Canada will end the current policy that automatically refuses LMI applications for low-wage occupations in the accommodation and food services and retail trade sectors in regions with an unemployment rate of 6% or higher. But keep that in mind, these changes to the temporary foreign worker, it's great news for those people who want to apply for temporary foreign worker program. Having said that, these are temporary changes, and eventually the government will reverse those changes. For those of you who are on Instagram, this is a live session that I usually hold for YouTube, but today I decided to go live on Instagram as well to see how it works. The other issue that you might need to know, by the way, just post your questions. When I'm done with the news, I will answer your questions. The other thing that you may need to know is that the IRCC are rethinking posting the processing times on their website, because currently the processing times are vague. They do not reflect the realities of delays, etc., and that they cause disputes. Believe it or not, many of our clients look at the processing times on the website and then they ask us, so why on earth my application has been processed for a very long time comparing to those that are posted on the website. So guess what? The government of Canada has decided to enhance their update system in terms of processing tools. So this was an announcement that was made by the Minister Sean Fraser. He announced that there will be major updates to IRCC's online processing times tool, and that will specifically cover different processing times, and they try to be post them in such a way that they are more realistic. And then one other thing that you need to know is that if you want to immigrate to Canada, you could become inadmissible to Canada because of medical issues. So when you are inadmissible to Canada because of medical issues, it's sometimes because you have a health situation that will endangers the safety and health of Canadians. And examples would be having an active case of pulmonary tuberculosis or TB, and the other one would be an untreated syphilis. These are two conditions that make a person inadmissible to Canada because they are uh, targeting the health of Canadians. Sometimes people are inadmissible on medical grounds because they will target the safety of Canadians. For example, they have a mental disorder that make them very aggressive towards other people, and that could cause harm to Canadians. And I have a list of those conditions on my website. If you look up settler.ca, look up for medical inadmissibility to Canada, I explained those two scenarios. But the third scenario is called excessive demand. In other words, your medical condition is in such a way that if you come to Canada, there will be a huge cost for the healthcare system that will cause more delays for Canadians to receive the services that they need, and it could adversely affect the rate of morbidity or mortality in Canada. So for that, the government has a threshold. In 2018, they decided to increase that threshold significantly, and they increased it to roughly about $20,000 per year, and they calculated usually for a period of 5 years. So in other words, if they find out that your medical situation will cost more than $100,000 in a period of 5 years, you could become inadmissible to Canada. Nowadays, the government has increased that threshold. The threshold now is $24,057 per year. That means for a period of 5 years is $120,000. So in other words, if your medical condition costs Canada more than $120,000, then you could become inadmissible to Canada because of excessive demand. Excessive demand does not cover spouses, common law partner, and children that are being sponsored by a Canadian citizen or permanent resident. And also, it doesn't affect the refugee claimants, but the rest of the population could be affected. There are, of course, many exceptional situations, many ways to prevent the inadmissibility to Canada or resolve it due to medical conditions. If you want to know more, you need to consult with a professional, and they will help you to navigate through the system to find a legal way to enhance your chances of immigrating despite excessive demand. So these are some of the things that I would like to, I wanted to touch base with you and talk to you about. Canada accepted 108,000 new permanent residents just in the first quarter of 2022. That shows that they will most likely will reach the target of 435,000 new immigrants this year. Having said that, keep that in mind that right now the backlog of immigration is more than 500,000 people. Also, the government has not invited anybody under the express entry system since September of 2021. In fact, for federal skilled trades program and federal skilled worker program, they have not invited anybody since December 2020. So the express entry is in limbo. The Minister of Immigration, Mr. Fraser, has promised that they will restart reactivating the express entry system sometime this spring. We have to wait. They are also facing a congestion of international students in Canada. Right now, we have 621,000 international students in Canada. Many of them, they want to become immigrants in Canada. They have family members. So collectively, we are looking at more than 1 million people who want to become immigrants in Canada. They are either international students or family members of international students. And guess what? Our annual rate of immigration to Canada is only 400,000 people. Many of those people, they are not under economic class. They come to Canada as refugees or they are being sponsored to Canada. So the number of international students that we can accept to become permanent residents are extremely limited. And that's why the Minister Fraser has promised that they are thinking about innovative and new ways for immigration for international students that make it easier for many of them to become permanent residents of Canada. We have to wait and see how they want to accommodate that, and keep that in mind. Regardless, we cannot accept more than 250,000 of those international students per year based on the current caps. The last but not least is that the government of Canada has decided to put a ban on purchasing properties by foreign nationals in Canada for 2 years. And also the province of Ontario has placed a tax for those international students, foreign workers, visitors that would like to purchase a property in Ontario. That's a 20% levy, which is a huge tax that exists in Ontario. So it is now more difficult for foreign nationals to purchase a property in Canada. Okay, I'm done with the news. Now let's take a look at the questions on YouTube. And also, if you on Instagram have questions, please post them on that area that has question mark, not on the comments, because I'm not going to see the comments, and then we'll answer them. So first, take a look at the questions on YouTube. I want to go to Canada. Please help me. Okay, so in terms of going to Canada, you need to know a few things. First of all, there are so many different ways to immigrate to Canada or to move to Canada on a temporary basis. And it's very difficult for me to, in an online session, to explain what are your options, Ihan. But at the end of the day, I have an article, so I post the link here, and it talks about your options in 2022. You can take a look at those options and see if any of those fit you. You can then later book a session with me to review your case, or you can fill out our assessment form. If you find anything for you, then we will let you know. The next question is by Richard Yaboha. So Richard says, hi, sir. Please, I want to know if refugee hearing has started held one-on-one in the refugee board court, or they do it on Zoom. So since 2020, since January 2021, for me, every single hearing that I've had, they have been online. It's not on Zoom, it's on Microsoft Teams. But anyways, it's very similar to Zoom. So they will hold it in person. At least for me, none of my hearings have been arranged to be in person? Will they change their policy and start in person hearings as well? We'll wait and see. But now that the restrictions are removed, obviously the in person hearings are not off the table. So the next question is from Yannick. Again, we're still, so if on Instagram you have questions, please post them in the question mark. I will answer one more question here on YouTube, and then I will come back to Instagram. So on YouTube, Yannick Almeida says, I have applied for my work visa from India in February. When can I expect the result? Also, my medical is approved. So, Yannick, honestly, the visa office in India is very slow. So sometimes it could take months before they approve your case. I've had even cases under GSS or Global Skills Stream that supposedly need to be processed in 2 weeks, but they have waited to be processed for more than a year. So it's very difficult for me to give you an answer to you, but expect several weeks. Sometimes it could happen tomorrow if you get lucky, especially because sometimes they transfer files to Ottawa and Ottawa quickly processes the application. But generally speaking, when it comes to the visa offices, not just one office in India, nowadays for work permit, they are super slow. Okay, let's take a look at the questions on Instagram. So the Instagram, okay, that's actually not a question. Thank you for accepting my case as our lawyer. See you on the next month in Canada. Oh, see you. Oh, hopefully. Hi, dear Parsai. What happened live today? Okay. So yes, okay, thank you very much. Yes, the live session today is in English language. It's my YouTube session, but I also decided to post it on Instagram at the same time. So for those of you who want Farsi sessions on Instagram, it's every Friday. So I just put it in Farsi. برای جلسات فارسی روزای جمعه بیاین روی Instagram. So sorry to put it in Farsi. I just wanted to explain what's going on. So the other question here is that, hi, my medical and biometrics passed and submitted last February 8th. That's great news. Obviously, when you pass the medical exam, it means that you're one stage ahead towards the final processing of your application. Having said that, the medical is being done by an officer who is different from your actual officer. So the officer that reviews the medical information is the medical officer, and that medical officer could be in a visa office that is completely different from the visa office that is processing your application. So the medical officer reviews the medical information, they create codes based on whether you pass the medical exam or no, and then they will pass it to the officer who is responsible to processing your application. That will definitely influence the officer who is processing your application, but it doesn't mean that the officer who is processing your application has started processing your application. So you need to keep that in mind. Now, I know that there are many international students in Canada who are stuck right now in Canada, and they are hoping to eventually immigrate to Canada, and they don't know their ways. That's why at Parsai Immigration Services, we have decided to post a bunch of articles and videos about the options for international students or graduates that are currently inside Canada. We have created a new category on our website. The category is called Students and Graduates in Canada. You can check out the articles. For example, the last article that I posted just last night is about, can an international student file for refugee in Canada? That's an interesting piece. I suggest that you take a look at that. I will also post a video about it. But generally speaking, if an international student is inside Canada, they have the opportunity to file for refugee if they meet the requirements of refugee claims. For example, their life is in danger at their home country, so they are considered either a convention refugee or they are considered a person who needs protection by Canada. Having said that, If they delay filing for refugee, that could be refused. There are also some reasons that an immigration officer may not even refer them to Refugee Protection Division for a hearing. And the last but not least is that do not misrepresent for getting a status in Canada. I suggest that you read that article. I will post the link here in the chat box. This is also useful for those international students that are currently inside Canada or they soon come to Canada and they want to file for refugee. And I try to explain it from different angles. Okay, so if we don't have any questions, let me see. I think there is a couple of questions. Okay, so there are a couple of questions here. Why the provincial score has gone up, BCPNP? So the simple answer to this question is because of the fact that there's more competition. As I mentioned, right now we have 621,000 international students. And of course, we have hundreds of thousands of temporary foreign workers in Canada. And all of those people want to become immigrants in Canada. That has created a huge competition between people. And the more competition, of course, the EOI scores will also increase. Okay, so before I say goodbye to my friends on YouTube, I want to say goodbye to my friends on Instagram. Thank you very much for attending this session. I will post the recording as well here. See you soon. And for Farsi session, you can come back on. Okay, so there is one question here on Instagram before I say goodbye to them. So you may also find it useful. The question is that how to get a job with a tourist visa. So getting a job has nothing to do with your status in Canada. But if you are a tourist in Canada and you want to apply for a job, just approach employers and see if they are willing to hire you. I have an article on settler.ca. It's called Cold Calling for Job Finding. That's probably the best approach to find a job as a tourist. Obviously, if they find you suitable for a job, then you need to go through the process of work permit. Luckily, we have a public policy that will last until February 28th, 2023. If you find a job offer supported by LMIA, or if it's exempt under IMP, then you may apply for a work permit from inside Canada, even if you are a tourist. So that's great news for certain tourists. Okay, thank you very much. And I say goodbye to my friends on Instagram. And then later I will post it. And I also want to thank you, YouTube, for attending this session. Please check out our website, settler.ca, for the latest news and articles about immigration to Canada. I introduce myself again. My name is Al Parsai. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant with 11 years of experience as an immigration consultant. I've had clients from 55 different countries so far, and I teach immigration courses at Ashton College, and also I'm an adjunct professor at Queen's Law University. Talk to you soon. Please subscribe to our channel and enable notifications.